this is a different perspective about cars because some people buy older cars, some people buy newer cars, and as time goes on, the mechanics that work on the older cars, wouldn't they become fewer and fewer if they're still making new cars and the older cars are dying off? So if the older cars are dying off slowly, and they're constantly making newer expensive cars, more expensive cars, because it don't really, to me, seem like the car prices are lowering when they're making new cars for each year. It don't seem like the prices are lowering. So it seems like people are going to be forced into these newer cars as the older cars die off and the mechanics that can work on them die off. There'll be less and less of the older cars and people that can work on them, which will force people of the future to buy newer and newer. You know what I'm saying? And it just seems like it's going to be harder and harder for people to be able to afford cars. And some people are going to have to ride share. That may be why Elon and, all these other companies are coming up with these driverless ride share vehicles, where you can get on your phone, Zooks, where you can get on your phone, call the vehicle, hop in, no driver. And, some people are saying that their fares are going to be fairly low for people to be able to ride in those cars. So it could be a situation where some people, a bigger portion of the population, may not be able to afford a new vehicle, and they may have to ride share in these driverless vehicles everywhere, which they will be able to be tracked because they'll be using a card or app to buy, their ride. And the car, of course, is going to be tracked by the company, and their cell phones being tracked too. So, and probably their credit cards even being tracked. So we'll probably end up being tracked in more than one way in the future, especially in the future. Now there's still a little bit of freedom where you can get in an older car and, the car don't tell nobody where you're going. The cell phone still do, maybe the credit card still do, but the car itself is still, free. But in the future, it seems like it's going to be harder and harder to not be tracked, as you be a part of the system and be a part of the future car market. Even the Teslas, they got all the cameras around the cars. Some of the newer cars, they got a lot of cameras, a lot of technology in them where they could probably even see you inside of the car. So it's just going to be different as time goes on and the more tracked we become.